Yo, 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 what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the RGT Podcast, episode 28. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 episodes away from 30. We are live, youtube.com. As you already know, we're here to deliver those facts, and got a good panel for you guys, like always. First time ever on the show, so let me go ahead and give a big, warm welcome to Dealer Gaming for joining us today.
Oh, wow. I'm first. Thank you. I appreciate it. We should have a good time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Carlos, go right ahead.
Hey, man. Once again, man, it's your boy Type R87, a.k.a. Gamer by Choice, not by Trend. And yeah, man, RGT, number 28. 2 more from, number 30?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. All I got to say is this, man. Hey, you Nintendo simps, man. Take it easy, man. It's just games. Nintendo still sucks. Kiddie Land is always for the kids, not for the grown adults.
You just asked for like 90 soccer accounts made after you crazy.
You guys really get that many Nintendo guys here riding your sack? Is that really?
Nah, it's only periodically when it's some fucked up shit they can't damage you.
Oh shit!
Yeah, especially cardboard. You know.
Oh god, not like this. Craig, go right ahead, brother.
Yes, it is the Messiah. I am here. Let's get it going.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Professional. Let's start. All right, so hit y'all with the first topic of today. Inside Xbox. What y'all thought?
Damn.
Don't want to jump up at once.
I don't know how this operates. I mean, do you call on people or did you just jump the fuck in? I mean,
go right ahead, Dealer. Go ahead.
Inside Xbox, honestly, I thought it was one of their better ones, but keep in mind I'm a Forza fan, looking forward to the game. And most importantly, Larry Herb didn't put on the white gloves. That was a positive. Also, it wasn't overly long and full of a bunch of useless bullshit, which I appreciated. You know, my time's kind of valuable, so to me. So
okay, all right. Craig. Craig.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. It's I figured it'd be their Forza heavy episode. So, and that game I guess will be out on Game Pass. Is it Monday or Tuesday? So I'll download it and check it out. I was gonna get it anyway, so they don't have to. Beautiful looking car. I saw a picture of a beautiful car they had. I don't know if it was in a field or something like that. So I don't know if it was a Ferrari or something like that.
McLaren,
but people got to figure out by now what that show's about. That's why I don't understand why people are bitching about it. It's like, damn, you all haven't figured out what this show is yet. You know, it's a Forza show. I got no problem with it. If they bring some Hot Wheel tracks, day it opens, or that's part of their DLC package, more the merrier. So bring it on.
I mean, at the end of the day, people are gonna play it, and they're gonna enjoy it. People are just gonna have to deal with the facts that Horizon is this gen's best arcade racer.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Like I cannot hate upon the franchise. I cannot say that it sucks. The game is entertaining to people, so as long as that's what really the reality is. It's entertainment. I could care less about if it's better than Gran Turismo, if it's this or is it that. Overall, it's just the experience and what you get from it. Plain and simple.
You know, as a guy that actually prefers Xbox, I've complained about Inside Xbox quite a bit because it was just not structured very well. You know, the State of Decay, Death Cage, watch these idiots crawl this cage. You know, like it was just some of the stuff was so cringy and just not very well planned or laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they could do much better. Shrink the show, fire half the hosts, half of them suck, and kind of but yeah, you're right. It is definitely not an E3, and that's something I said as well. You don't go in expecting some crazy news. You know, it's kind of a way to showcase.
It's just sad too. We all speculated that you would at least get something like that because we all looked at it as like their own version of a Nintendo Direct. So we thought it was going to be.
Well, it's a Inside Xbox is an old show they used to have. It used to be an online thing, and it of course destroyed itself, and then they brought it back with a little bit more money. But it's pretty much the same thing, just a little better.
So would you say would it destroy itself again at this rate?
That last episode, I said it on RDX. I thought that was actually one of the few shows I enjoyed because they actually had Tanner Faust there. I'm a big car guy. Even Justine, I don't know what the fuck that bitch does, but I thought she did a good job. You know, I thought she's better than half the hosts there. And I wouldn't mind them bringing her.
Justine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a YouTuber.
Yeah, she was there.
Okay. Yeah, you know, the shows for me, I don't know. I really don't know. Like sometimes I think they're catered to us. Sometimes it don't feel like they're catered to anybody in particular. It just feels like they just throw shit together and throw it out there in a weird way, in a weird twist.
Yeah.
What's up, Porter?
Yeah. So. And Forza, back to what Carlos is saying, it is, and I've said this for about a month, it's the best arcade racing game since Ridge Racer going way back. I mean, it is just, it's that good. And Ridge Racer had the tracks with the loops and all that stuff. So, it's a good game. It's fun to play. I encourage everybody to try it once. Yes, even you, Porter Rock, who doesn't like driving in a car.
but yet, Admin Lee is in Germany and he drives nothing but in the Autobahn. So, P Rock, get you a Porsche, man. And whip it.
Try it. Let's try it. It's not. It's Game Pass. If you don't like it, delete it. It is what it is. It's gonna be fun.
I don't think you should even have to convince people to try. I mean, it's obviously quality, right? Like it's the highest rated racing game franchise in the last, fucking 15, 16 years now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Forza. You know, but by my count, you do get the most customization and upgrades. You get 400 to 700 cars, depending on Horizon or Motorsport. I mean, it's definitely quality, and I would argue that it's very simulation. I would say it's the most simulation open world racing game there is in terms of physics and handling, and there's a ton of varying, 72 people on a map running into people. I've been playing it over the past couple of days, and I gotta say, it's good. It's the next one they're gonna have to change things up because I'm tired of using the same fucking upgrades since 2007. And this is like Forza Horizon 3 on crack. It does some things better, but if the next one doesn't do things differently, and when I explain this to people, because you get people that, no, I don't think Forza could change. It's so good. Things got to change a little bit. It's kind of like God of War. If we were playing the same old type of God of War, even though God of War 3 was fire, right? But if the new one came out just like 3, I'd be like, fuck it. I'm so glad they rebooted it, and Sony made them reboot God of War like that because the game was fucking fire as a result. We just didn't think of a way that they could possibly do it, but they pulled it off. Forza's got to do something that changes the game a little bit because if I go through for Horizon 5 and it's just the same shit in a different city, then I'm going to start to get really bored.
Yeah, good point.
All right, going from that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Craig. Now, Dealer, what would you think about them doing it in Japan, how they originally intended when they did all the leaks?
That was definitely one of the rumors. Like I said, it could be the same as this now, but just in Japan, the HDR would be fire on the OLED, right? Like, but the setting would look cool, and at the end of the day, if it's got the same mechanics, I'm bored as fuck, just in a different area.
All right. Respect on that.
Okay. What y'all have to say about Shadow of the Tomb Raider having 7 confirmed DLCs?
I like Tomb Raider, so I'm not going to get the DLCs, but
I think they're tombs, though, right? One coming once a month,
and I think certain missions they're doing
outfits, tombs. I think,
that's official.
No, like big expansions or anything that I know of, but to my knowledge, it's 7 tombs once a month, guns and outfits that I can remember.
I don't get it. Why? Why is it cut?
Why? Because people will buy it. And this is the last game. And there's a lot of stuff. If you played Tomb Raider from 15, 20 years ago, it's in this game. The inclusion of the older avatars, I thought was really cool. If you're a fan, to run around with those 4 or 8 pixel count, Lord, whatever it is, running around like that was funny. I mean, it looked crazy on that screen, but you don't have to buy it. It's DLC.
Did you play the game, Ryan?
What, Shadow Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Not shit. I'm waiting for that thing to go down.
It's fire. Yeah, I mean, it's worth $60 easy, in my opinion. I like it. Yeah.
I like it, but I'm biased. I've liked it. I've always liked Tomb Raider.
What I'm doing with the DLC is it's once a month, right? And I'm gonna there's a new game plus in this one, unlike the last one. So I'm gonna wait till next summer when there's nothing to play, and I'm just gonna go through it, but with all the extra 7 tombs and stuff, and you know, kind of be a little bit of a new experience for me.
Right.
That's the way I damage control it.
I wanted to get it. The thing about it though, and everybody who pretty much saw my first reaction to it,
yeah,
I really don't feel like they did anything new at all that justifies $60. It just seems like the same thing. Nothing new. You know, they even got the same tagline, become the Tomb Raider. And everybody's telling me that the ending's underwhelming and they don't feel like they became anything and shit. So it's like, I don't know.
But what about those kids though, Ryan? Those kids died.
It is similar, but I will say though that it's similar, but you haven't played similar since 2015, right? Like the last one came out in 2015. So if you took a 3-year break, similar ain't too bad because it's kind of new in a way.
Mm-hmm.
That makes any sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely pick it up. Probably on Steam, or I'll get it like early or later on PS4, like when it's cheaper. But right now, I don't really feel just like, and this isn't the first time I felt like this because I felt the same way with the last Assassin's Creed game. I didn't even buy that day one.
Really, that was fun.
I didn't do it because Assassin's Creed lost his way from me because they left so many plot holes, like literally some major plot holes, especially after number 3, where I think it was what's his name? Nolan North's character who basically dies. He sacrifices himself for Juno. Juno's like storyline just stops there. You don't get no clarification as if the world is actually enslaved or not.
I forgot all about that. That's how horrible the Animus story is. You know, to me, I'm like, fuck the anime. Get the fuck out of the robot machine and just go back in time and just play as a historical figure. You know, forget the modern day stuff.
Yeah, and I would think, like, or all of you really would think that they would at least go to Japan. That was the main thing they were hinting at beforehand, but they never did it. Instead, they came out with a side-scroller type of game of that caliber.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't understand that neither. It's like people want something new with Assassin's Creed. Y'all keep going back to Italy and France and all this. It's like we've been there. I don't want to go back there. They could have expanded on that whole Templar thing though. Because remember, you could play as a Templar in one of them.
Yeah.
They could have expanded with that, but they didn't expand. They killed that off immediately. So,
well, now we're going to Greece, Ryan. We're going to Greece.
Greece lightning.
Yeah.
Notice how every move they're doing literally is ripped off of 300, even that Spartan kick.
Let's be real. Odyssey is just Origins and a different skin with a different story and some new mechanics, right? And that's why I liked Origins. I got like almost 1,300 gamer score out of 1,500 on it. I thought the game, one of the best open world maps of all time. The combat felt great, but Ubisoft storytelling sucks in the Assassin's Creed games. The side missions are almost useless. Witcher's the best. Witcher 3 is the best game ever made, right? That's just a fact. I'm sorry. And if you go from playing, God tier Witcher missions and narrative on the side to Assassin's Creed side missions, hey, this is creepy. Can you check this out? Like it's fucking bullshit after bullshit, and it's fun to play. But it suffers in the narrative side. I'd like to see Ubisoft kind of kick that up, But I'm waiting for those Odyssey reviews before I decide to invest.
I guess that game comes out. Is that Friday?
Waiting for that Xbox One Enhanced comment. What you waiting for?
Hey, fucking Ultimate Edition. I think that comes out on the 1st.
Oh, speaking of Ultimate Edition, y'all know what the season pass supposedly. I think there's a season pass. You get Assassin's Creed 3 remastered and Assassin's Creed Liberation remastered.
Yeah.
Does anybody give a shit about either one of those games?
3 was the worst one ever made.
Yeah,
I don't get it. That's not sweetening the deal at all. You're giving away one of the shittiest Assassin's Creeds in the history, and that breaks my heart because in terms of like looks. Connor was like the best looking in terms of like how his like costume, like his assassin's robes looked. He was the cool looking one. Like I actually thought his he was gonna have a cool storyline. His storyline just fell flat.
Any game where you start out playing tag as a child in the game for 20 minutes, there's a problem.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And guess what? Yeah, that's a good sign for Odyssey because Odyssey is the Assassin's Creed 3 team, the Assassin's Creed Unity team, and a few people from the Black Flag team, which is the Origins team. So mostly it's the dog shit team for Odyssey. So I'm really curious about how the new creative director is going to, and maybe you can wrangle these dudes up and make them put out a quality game. But as of right now, their A team just released Origins. Odyssey shouldn't fare any better than Origins, but we'll see. We'll see what the new guy does.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you even like the Black Flag? Did anybody like Black Flag in the?
I did.
Black
I
Flag,
thought that was one of the better
It was
ones.
okay. It was okay. It wasn't.
Black Flag was the Origins team, by the way.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a departure. You did work for the Templars. That was a game where you actually were working for the Templars.
I just love the sailing, man. I used to blow shit up and go around just blowing up other ships. That was my whole MO.
Yeah.
Now you can do that with Skull and Bones there, Carlos.
Oh, yeah, I'm just waiting for
That's
that
the whole
game.
premise of Skull and Bones, which I'm surprised people are not talking about. It's like people forgot about that.
I haven't forgotten. Believe me, I'm waiting for that one to come out. I'm
After
just...
Sea of Thieves, ain't nobody want to talk about that shit.
I mean, after a while,
has not talked about Skull and Bones. I'm surprised. Not one.
After a while,
Well, I need to hear some more information about it. That's all. It's just we got that quick trailer and that was it. And it looks interesting, but need more information. Need some gameplay, not a CGI trailer.
Well,
you know what I hang my hat on gameplay. So
they did show gameplay, I think, and that's if I'm remembering correctly, they did show it. And from what I think I remember, it was just Black Flag ship combat in the modern day.
Okay, yeah. They're gonna have to do better than that then. And they may have more stuff pop up. We never know.
Well, we're lucky if it's a finished game when it comes out. It's Ubisoft, so I mean, I'm just hoping for that. You know.
Yeah, Ubisoft lost me though as a customer for a little bit because I remember when the other one, Origins came out, they were trying to sell some like $500 headphones. Remember that shit?
Really?
Yeah, they were trying to sell you either some $500 headphones or $1,000 headphones because they were made out of solid gold with like a statue.
The fuck?
Yeah, it was weird as hell. It was like some weird ass shit that they were trying to sell on the side, and I'm like, Ubisoft. In what realm do you think we're in right now? Ain't nobody buying that shit. Like,
well, they're like, well, buy our next one. It's $3,000, but it comes with one of Mike Tyson's teeth.
Yeah.
$80. I think the other one was like $80 or something like that. It was like a big statue or something. Didn't do shit.
Anything to gain a little bit of cash to help the development team, you know?
Yeah, I doubt it. Okay. Everybody knows this whole bullshit with Nintendo. But I'm gonna pull out something pretty funny here for everybody in the chat.
Oh man.
So Bowsette. Y'all hear about Bowsette? Y'all know what it's about?
Yeah. I don't. Pretty much my damn timeline is pretty filled with Bowsette this, Bowsette that, Bowsette cosplay.
I don't know what it is.
It's just like it's crazy.
Well, let me give you the heads up on who it is and what she is. Well, Bowsette is a character that was basically created by a fan. Everybody pretty much liked the design. It blew up. Nintendo jumped on it. Since Nintendo jumped on it, people have made some petitions to like get her in Smash Bros. Or whatnot, and that's fine, right? But here's where it gets weird. As of right now, Bowsette. Well, I'll put it on screen for everybody.
Bowsette.
Yeah, Bowser, because it's literally Bowser and the princess, something like that, together. There you go.
Wait, what?
Don't see it.
Talking like some splicing shit, or like it's just Bowser with a dress? What are you talking?
Oh no, it's the princess and Bowser, the actual like villain, mixed together.
Well, no wonder Nintendo jumped on that.
500. Okay.
And
that's what you were talking about.
Whoa, bro!
In 3 days.
How many perverts are in the world today, man?
I don't know, but they have lost me completely.
God damn, 500,000.
I was
views?
called X amount of things for just asking for the simple stuff like voice chat and shit, and motherfuckers
just
called me
gun
weird.
just to look
But
at
this shit's
naked cartoons.
Yeah, it's like, oh, screw that. Let's go look at let's look at some damn naked cartoon.
Is that what we're talking about though? Like, is it really? Is that why? I'm lost. For one, it's weird as fuck, so I'm lost. All right, forgive me. But secondly, is it like driven by dudes that are attracted to this spliced thing, whatever the fuck it is?
Yeah, I think it's practically just that. Some people are very big fans of the Mario series, and they do like mashup between characters, and they just combine them together. They actually have another one, which is the one that's with the I believe the bomb. that goes across the screen when every time you play on the Mario games. They mashed that up as well. They're actually trying to mash up another couple of more characters as well. But the thing is that they're now doing this kind of thing in order to get some kind of exposure to the cause, but it's really not helping it out because
it's not helping them at all. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, if it was more kid friendly for the kid fan base of Mario, it would be fine. But this is just going way too beyond, like to the point where it's like, okay, guys, we get the point that you have an affinity for Bowsette. It is understandable, but let's be real, man. This is a kid based game. Kids are not gonna go thinking about body parts. They're gonna think about.
So is affinity even the right word, bro? I mean, is affinity the right word here? I mean,
I'm trying to keep it as
diplomatic,
mundane as possible.
Yeah,
because
it don't stop though, guys. It don't stop, guys. It's still on the screen here. Apparently, there's a mod for the Super Mario in 64, and you can play as Bowsette.
Oh God.
I don't know what's going on here, but this is crazy.
And there was actually a petition. There was a petition for them to actually canon the character into the actual timeline. But Nintendo,
wow, really?
Yeah, to Nintendo did not answer, so there it goes.
Yeah.
Yep. That is. So
but just to clarify, because I am still extremely confused by this, it is a sexually driven petition, nothing more.
It's kind of both. It's actually.
I don't fuck with none of this. You gotta understand. So I'm very.
I know. But I'm gonna explain it to you. It's solely fan based. It's solely fan based. But there you have, the other lather of the other half that actually does this dumb shit in order to get the point across. That's where the big problem is at. That's why Nintendo hasn't really budged into the idea of canning the character into the timeline because of the way it has been presented on a social media basis.
Exactly.
So therefore this discussion, it's a little bit edgy for me to talk about it because I don't want to offend people, especially the ones that are, anime fans such as myself. Like, I love anime, I love what it stands for, but there are certain limitations to where you have to, keep yourself at, especially on a social media based and open platform.
Unfortunately, though, people don't get that memo, and it goes left.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so let's get into a major and big topic here. No PlayStation experience for 2018, ladies and gentlemen. It's been confirmed by Sean Layton that we will not be getting a PSX this year.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not either. It pretty much tells you that the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox are literally around the corner. So after The Last of Us drops and Ghost of Tsushima, that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. They were very transparent. They said we have 4 games. We're going to show you the E3. This is pretty much what's left.
Yeah.
And, if they were to show even more of any of those games, I think it just wouldn't serve to hype anything up. I don't think at this point until they're a little closer.
Yeah, it all makes sense now because I remember when Phil, I think it was last year's E3 or this year's E3, where Phil got on stage and said that we'll deliver with the next Xbox X-Mod things. He started talking about the new one, and obviously we saw the new studios that they inquired, but again, we all knew that those studios were going to be for next gen, not necessarily for the X.
Yeah. I think 2019 so far it's Crackdown 3, which like I said, I'm glad they delayed it. If they can make that thing as good as it could possibly be, that's in their own best interest, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And Gears 5. I'm hearing some things about Ninja Theory's next game. I know they were working on something for over a year before Microsoft even acquired them, which they did several months before it was announced. Phil was very surprised it didn't leak. So there's a chance we could see something from that, but it's not likely that we'll get a game from them. So you're right. It's probably just those two, and if we're lucky, maybe something else. I think they might even push Forza Motorsport back for the first time since the franchise has started, and give it 3 years instead of 2 to retool for the next generation.
Yeah, definitely. What do y'all expect really next gen? That's a good question as well. What do y'all really expect?
CPU?
They're going for more stable frame rates. I mean, they've been transparent about it.
Yeah. So history has proven every single generation, Greg, that every time we think we're getting X amount of things, even after they said they're going to go for this, the developers come out and say, well, we didn't have enough power, or this is what we got to work with, is not enough, sort of thing. But they'll always tell you at the start, oh, we got more than enough to deliver this amount of things. And it's like,
well, it's like a movie. It's like a movie budget. They always say we got more than enough. Like the last Avengers movie had a $200 million budget. And they still they went over by like 30 million. But no, if they say that's what they're going to do, that's pretty much all we have to go on. Graphically, I don't see where else they can take it. They're talking about photorealism and stuff like that. It's just like, my God, that's shit you want. Get a PC. But I expect some of the games that are locked that are at 30 that are struggling, they'll lock them at that. Some of the games at 60 that are having issues, they'll lock it at 60. Not all the games. They're still going to have checkerboarding. They're still going to have dynamic resolutions, sparse resolutions. It's just the way, and native resolutions. But at the end of the day, more stable frame rates that's at least what they've said publicly. But you're right, Ryan. Behind closed doors, it's going to be a totally different thing. But I haven't seen a game this gen that looks as good as Horizon Zero Dawn. Not yet. So not top to bottom. Yes, there's some games that do things better, but as far as looking, that's the best looking game I've seen this gen. So where else are you gonna go? Better frame.
I actually disagree completely. I think this is actually the first generation that I think consoles are going to be where they should be, honestly, in the modern era. With the X1 and PS4, obviously, you were bottlenecked many times, even at 30 frames, let alone 60. That meant you couldn't have complex animation, destruction, fucking any kind of volumetrics. They were just held back. World detail was scaled back as a result, right? And with the new consoles, we know that they're using Ryzen, right? Ryzen APUs. We know that, like I said, my personal prediction is 16 gigabytes of RAM, 8 to 12 teraflops, Ryzen CPU, and I know they're going Ryzen. The reason they went with Jaguar is the only thing AMD had. Remember, AMD were pulling themselves out of the fucking sewer in 2011, 2013. They didn't have anything else. They finally came out with Ryzen, and now they have the capability to give us a CPU jump, and the CPU alone is massive for games, man. I'm telling you, like the frame rates in open world games. I mean, you're going to see games like that with 60 FPS options that are locked. You know, it's going to be a big jump in that area. And like I said, too, detail and animation, simulation, destruction, volumetrics, any kind of world detail, tons of draw calls headed out there to increase geometry and stuff. You're just going to notice it, man. It's going to be physics. That's a big one, too. Physics is huge for next generation. That's one of the biggest things we haven't really seen much in a lot of big games this generation. Is just too heavy. So I think it's going to be awesome. And I think games are going to look good from day one. You're right. Dynamic resolution and stuff's going to be there. But I think dynamic resolution is good. And that's why PC guys are asking for it as well. Digital Foundry say it makes PC gaming better. That means you don't lose the frames. And you don't even notice the drop most of the time because it's a split second. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's great. Checkerboarding, of course. I think checkerboarding falls apart when you're moving, right? Like Spider-Man, for instance. Fucking game was great, but I noticed where that temporal reprojection failed and everything just hazed out, you know? I don't like that, but I think it was worth the compromise and continue to improve on that kind of stuff. And they will. They're going to get the sharpness of basically double the resolution that they're paying for with the frames. So all that stuff's going to move forward. It's going to continue to get better, but I'm confident, man. I think that this generation, PlayStation 5 and the Xbox 2, which Phil said it's going to be the benchmark, meaning they might even take a L on the cost in this thing. They might take a little loss. You never know, but they want to be the fastest. And I think that kind of competition's great, man. I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah, Phil did say when he was on that CNBC interview or that business. I don't know if it was CNBC or Fox Business that they supplement the console. So yeah, they may both take losses, but yeah, it's just going to come down to whatever ecosystem you want to be in. They're going to both pretty much do a lot of the same things. I agree with that. So
yeah. What's up, Fonz? What's going on? You know, snuck in here. What's going on?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I got the thing a little late here. I didn't realize I had the invite, so I'm here.
Oh God,
Fraudarelli.
Fraudarelli.
I'm doing good, man. Just put out a video today. So
saw it. The Red Dead video.
Yeah, he's talking about horse testicles, people.
Good video. Yeah. Really, I think you really explained that the micromanaging. I'm glad that somebody's out there talking about that, because that really seems like it's going to be in the forefront of the Red Dead game. So,
well, a lot of people have the misconception of, you know, it being a Rockstar game. They think, oh, GTA, can GTA this game? And you just can't. It's a different game, different animal. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You guys ready for those microtransactions for that game, though? Because I'm telling you, they're going to try their hardest to replicate GTA Online. They're going to try their hardest.
Oh yeah, the online component for sure. You're right.
They're not going from making $700 million in a quarter on GTA Online, a 5-year-old fucking game, to nothing on Red Dead.
Look out for those wagon wheel cards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean,
so this is going to be pretty interesting to see.
It really ain't going to change anything. These companies are still going to implement whatever they can in order to get money. Regardless of what people say, how they flip it, how they want things to go, and how they want it to happen. It is what it is. These games, they're going to need some kind of backing financially, because, you know, the companies such as Sony and Microsoft, Nintendo, they're not going to back the studios as much as they, you know, as much as they would like to.
Carlos, it's not really even about that. At the end of the day, it's that, you know, the gamers can say all they want, but they're buying them. Gamers are out there buying them in droves. There's polls being put out there, and people are saying that they don't buy them, but I think some people are frauding out.
I mean, the sales says otherwise. Like,
are they saying they're not buying microtransactions?
The sales says otherwise, man.
Yeah.
Yo, those microtransactions.
Of course they are.
Yeah, that's why they're being put into these games. It's not that they're in dire need, that these companies need to have these microtransactions. No, they can make money based off that $60 price tag, okay? Mm-hmm. But it's of course it's a business. They can make the money. People are buying them, so why not keep putting them in there? I mean, I can't blame them for it. I can't fault them.
Why are people lying? I mean, like Activision, right? What was it? They made $7 billion last earnings report or whatever, and they said that 2/3 of that was microtransactions. So you're telling me that all your games, your DLC, all your IPs combined, including things like World of Warcraft and Call of Duty and Destiny, made $2 or $3 billion less than that, and the rest of it was just free money because you had some magical fucking coins?
Nah, that's not the case, man. That's not the case at all. But at the end of the day, they're going to seek out a way to get more money out of everything. It's always been the practice for any company. It's not going to change. The only thing that can change is the people that actually support it. And that's where the whole bottom line is at. If you're supporting the whole microtransaction fever, then don't say uncle when you're actually the culprit. And stop trying to push an agenda when you already know that you have your hands in the pool. Plain and simple. Like if you know that you're supporting a cause, and then you see other people not agreeing with that cause, don't try to ride the same boat. Just be honest.
You know, Carlos, it's just like the same people who are pushing for crossplay and saying it's anti-consumer, yet they're not saying anything about the anti-consumerism going on their preferred brand. You know,
we're gonna get into that as well.
You have to call it out.
You got to remember that the only reason these microtransactions exist, according to Capcom, is they're looking out for you. You know, they want you to be able to say fuck it and just pay to level up your character now. So, you know, that's just player choice. And instead of making that free because they care about you so much, you know.
Now going back on that, dealer, whatever happened to playing Devil May Cry and getting a stylish ranking without even the use of any items to even pay for them? Because I remember when I used to play Devil May Cry on the PS2, I had a grind for the fucking gauntlets. I had a grind for most of the stuff, most of the items that were in the game, and it felt satisfactory. Whatever happened to the satisfaction of earning those items and being good at it? Like, that takes away the whole skill set of you being a gamer.
That's what I keep telling people. Like, don't be saying, well, it doesn't affect me if they pay to level. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile.
Exactly.
Before you know it, you're paying to level up a multiplayer.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't do that, man.
You'll have games acting like Star Wars Battlefront 2 by default, where you can literally pay your way all the way to level, max with all these cards and shit.
I don't know about the level, but yeah, there was, here's a card that gives you 40% faster turn radius. And people are like, that doesn't break the game. And it's like, you are a fucking idiot.
Like, you're fucking retarded with this shit. And they it will go that route if they can get away with small shit, because they'll always try to up the ante with next games. They always do this shit. If they can get away with let's say selling you perks for money, then who's to say they won't try to do some shit like Konami did with save slots, where they try to charge you for save slots.
Which still blows my mind out the back of my skull.
Yeah,
I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, people forgot about that, and people want to give Konami money. I'm like, you're fucking mental.
Nah.
Shout out to Jeremiah Dixon for the $2 super chat. He said prices will raise on games or on subscriptions.
Yeah,
well, that's odd, but because they're more profitable than they've ever been. These companies are making more money than they've ever made. So I don't buy into their bullshit. This was also, a lot of people forget the DLC alone makes more money, especially per investment dollar, than the game itself. So I think there's two layers that they can lean back onto it, counting microtransactions, and those microtransactions are going nowhere anyway.
What's helping a lot right now is the fact that digital sales are on the rise. Every year it's going up by a substantial percentage. And I think right now they're like 65-70% of people are buying digital copies. So they're saving a lot of money there with distribution and costs of production and stuff on these discs and stuff. And people need to understand that all that, you have to take that into account. These companies are making money off these games. Don't let them fool you with this bullshit that they need microtransactions. They do not.
No, they don't. They really don't.
Just look at companies like CD Projekt Red. They're not a huge company. They are not about microtransactions, and they are making a boatload of money off their games.
They are also independent, and they're also independent. They also gave us 16 pieces of little DLC here and 2 big ass expansions for not $50 but $25.
Which is right next to the point that I wanted to come across as well. Like, and it's always the same thing I've always said in every podcast. If you give me something in its entirety, I will gladly pay for it. Don't just give me little snippets of something and expect me to feel satisfied when I'm being locked out from progressing on. Yeah. If you're just gonna throw something on, just throw it completely. Like, here's what you're gonna pay. This is the basic game, no DLC, nothing, just the basic story, basic moves, basic everything. Then you have the Ultimate Edition, which has this and that and the third, and then you have the Super Ultimate Edition, which has all the content included at this fixed rate and price. No more microtransactions. No more of this. You got to buy this for cosmetic reasons, or you have to put this on just so that your character can level up. No, just keep it simple.
Look. I got to cut you off, and I'm sorry, but there's so much weirdness going on in the chat that I have to call it out. Okay, first of all,
got the dawn.
OG Dog. The reason why the physical copies are the same price as the digital copies is because they can sell it to you for the same price, and people will still buy it. And to Samuel Ashmead saying that they should just raise the locked price to $80 per game. Listen, they don't need to raise the price. They are making money off that game. That is the whole, blindfolding they're trying to do to gamers, make them believe the fact that they need microtransactions and stuff. They not. I mean, you can ask industry analysts and stuff. They are making money off these games, man.
And people will say too that like the price has been so similar for so long, but the industry's making more money than it ever has. At the end of the day, that the bottom line is the bottom line. But gaming is healthier than it's ever been. And the real reason they can't really reduce digital prices on console is because of their competitors. The big box stores get pissed off. If you're selling your game on the Xbox store for $50, all of a sudden you've got Best Buy saying, fuck you. I'm not going to carry your game. And this has happened.
Yeah, they're not gonna carry the hardware. They're not gonna carry any marketing for the product, and therefore they lose that profit. That's another thing too, and a lot of people gotta understand that it's not the way for you to say, okay, fuck this, fuck that, and move on. No, they have to literally pay these companies such as Walmart, Best Buy. They have to literally pay them for advertising their products in their shelves. So that's another thing that has to be, that people have to really understand when it comes to physical and digital.
Yep.
And the reason why that these companies won't really raise the cost of their games is because they're afraid that might cause another disaster in the market, which happened in the 80s. If you raise the price per game, they're going to sell less copies. That's just the name of the game. That's going to happen. And they're afraid of that. They don't want to do that. They're going to upset people. So,
Fonz, do you remember when we were talking to Phil Spencer in the party, and we brought up game sharing, and he said he gets shit from all of these guys. He gets shit from at least one big publisher once a month. And Fonz was just bringing up all the negatives, right? This fucker, I'm like, Fonz, shut up. You're going to make Phil change his mind. But, we had to point out that, hey, this is what I told him. I said, well, yeah, I mean, people are buying, half the games. Let's just worst case scenario. Everyone's buying half the games now because they're game sharing. But they are also buying more games because they are saving money on the games they do buy. Yep. So they're splitting games down the middle and stuff too.
Yeah, and I was like these other people who was thinking that, hey, if they're just buying one copy, they must be losing sales here. But Phil Spencer corrected me on that, and he told me no, that they're actually making more money. These developers are selling more games than they ever have before with digital sales. So it just gets people involved in buying more digital copies, and that makes them more money. So he said the exact words. He said these developers and stuff come in, they're mad, and they leave with a smile on their face.
Look at the percentages. They look at the percentages. They look at the percentages of revenue and increase in whatever they are getting from those games. And you have no choice but to leave out the office with a cheesy smile, and then next day come back again and rant again, and then leave again with another cheesy smile. But I mean, these are practices that are done all the time in the business area. It's nothing new. It's the same old story, same old song, and people just got to educate themselves a little bit better when it comes to these companies. You cannot just go blindfolded and say, "Oh, this is anti-consumer because it is," and that and the third. Actually go into it, study it, look at the practices that they're doing, and then call out the bullshit. Don't just say outright as anti-consumer when you really don't know what the fuck it means.
Yeah.
Well, when I know that it's when something is good for the consumer and the companies are doing something against that, that's when I'll call it anti-consumer. Despite what the company tries to say, it's better for their bottom line or whatever. I don't care about their bottom line. I don't care about their dollar. I care about me. And that's what you guys should care about. The gamer, you yourself, do not give a shit about what these companies are trying to say about, oh, they need to make money here or they're going to lose a customer here. Hey, if it's better for you, go for it.
How many times have you heard me rail on these guys that are so concerned with Microsoft's money, like Game Pass, right? I think it's a very pro-consumer service. You get all their new games. I mean, just a couple games a year, and you save more money than you spend. Without the other 150 games like Fallout and all this other shit that's in there, it's a very, very good service for your money. And you had guys that were against it because they were worried about how much fucking money Microsoft making.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they confirmed, hey, our sales are actually going up because you got a billion people playing this game now, and people are like, what is this? And they go buy it. Like, it's helping sales. It's really weird.
It just gets hypocritical though. Like, they'll say they don't care about financials for one particular brand 1 week, and then next week they care about financials for somebody else's. It's like, I don't understand.
Like they're not concerned with Microsoft, but they're concerned with Sony's and shit like that.
I saw that shit with Nintendo, and I was like, what? Are we talking about Nintendo's financials? I thought we didn't care about that shit. I thought we were gamers. We cared about our best interest. No, we gotta look out for the company's best interest. What?
You can't look out for the company's best interest because at the end of the day, the company is still going to do what it needs to do in order to gain its revenue, in order to increase its profit. They're going to always look for statistics and numbers. That's their thing. They're going to look for what works for them and how they're going to implement it onto the customer.
And then they get fucked like they did with Star Wars. So it's important for the customer to stand up and smack the shit out of companies like EA sometimes, but
yeah, sometimes you gotta speak up on if you feel like as gamers, as customers, if you feel that there's something that's out of the norm, don't just stay quiet about it. Speak out.
Yeah, you know, I've been saying that for a long time. Ever since I've been in this community, I've been telling people that, you know, you have a voice, and people laughed at me. People talk shit to me, you know. And then the whole thing happened with Battlefront 2 and all that. And I told people to speak on it and everything. And look what happened when the gamers did come together and speak on it. I mean, we do have a voice, and people need to understand that.
We got massive change, especially with that DRM shit. Everybody was together. Everybody.
Yeah, nobody understands the power of the voice. Nobody understands the power of just uniting together. Whether you're an Xbox fanatic, whether you're a Sony fanatic, whether you're a PC gamer, whether you're a Nintendo fan, just come together as a whole, as a community, and speak out on the negatives of each company.
Yeah,
speak out on the negatives that affect you as a gamer. Don't just
you got to back it up with your dollar too, though. No. That's here's the thing. That's a given. With Battlefront 2, we did that. And the thing is like with these microtransactions, you hear a shit ton of people talking against them, but they're not backing it up. They're still buying the bullshit. So. I can't, like, when I hear about the microtransaction stuff, and I know I speak on it a lot, and I understand why people get upset, because I get upset too, because there's times I'm like, I don't even want to hear about it because you guys are just lying. You're buying these in fucking masses. Like you continue to buy them. So I don't know. It's
I don't understand this shit either. It goes against their very principles when they act like when they talk all liberal in the chat or whatever, or in their videos, and they just immediately buy the shit day one. It's like, I
can't buy. Like, I'm not gonna front to you. Like, I got Destiny 2 for free on the PSN Plus, but I thought long and hard before I purchased that DLC. Like, I really was like, okay, I really want to play the DLC. Like, that was the only reasons why I wanted to play it, because I felt the need to play the DLC. But as far as like purchasing any other kind of let's say weapon sets or any other microtransaction based items, I didn't do that shit. I got my shit through playing the game, grinding it out, and I beat the Forsaken storyline, and that shit was fire. I loved the hell out of it.
And that's the only reason you got that bitch for free, because he's like, hey, we got some DLC, and it's almost the same price as the game anyway. We're gonna fuck it either way.
That was the only tempting part of getting Destiny 2 that I got caught in the trance. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna spend it once, but I'm not gonna try to buy anything that affects my progression through the game. I'm gonna actually grind this bitch out, get all the exotic weapons that I need, level up as much as possible, and not use not even one single thing from the microtransactions. I'm just gonna grind it out, and that's how people should do it too, man. Like, just if you're gonna buy the DLC, support the DLC, but at the same time, be conscious. Be a conscious person and think about it before you even try to say, okay, I already bought the DLC, but I need this weapon.
Yeah. The problem with Destiny 2, though, it's a bad example, because the only thing you can buy there is just like emotes and stuff. It's bullshit. It's really cosmetic crap.
Yes.
And people that buy that shit makes me laugh my ass off, because that shit is terrible. Like, most of that stuff is dumb. It's dancing.
And the funny part about it is, Fonz, you could earn it through the fucking damn strikes, and you could earn it through the fucking the crucibles. You could earn it pretty much through all the fucking game content. But there are some people that are just lazy, and they don't want to just grind for it. And that's where the problem is at. Like, you guys got to wake up. You already bought the DLC. Why are you going to pay $3 for a fucking engram?
And if you don't like grinding, then why the fuck are you playing Destiny 2?
Just know that
much they paved that way for you in the first one. They told you that's what the game's about. Working your ass off to get the top ranked shit. So
you just got to be vigilant with each release and look at the microtransactions being sold, and just speak with your wallet and also speak with your voice, because you know, they'll try every year. A company tries to do some fuckery with those microtransactions, and they're getting caught lately. So we need to keep on top of that.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I'm telling you now, if they have an option like going in future games where you can skip a boss for like $5, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
You know that's gonna happen, bro.
That's
Eventually, that's
fucked up shit. They have that option in the future.
That's Capcom's next reveal.
Yo, you know what's so funny though? But when I was growing up in the early '90s, we had fucking Game Genie if you wanted to cheat your ass off and say you beat the game, because practically this is what they're actually providing you. They're providing you cheat codes in order to progress in the game, and a lot of people don't understand that. Like that's the basis of all this fucking microtransactions and progressional items. They're just making you pay for cheat codes.
Yeah,
you know, there's a lot of older gamers my age and older that believe that the internet ruined gaming because of that sort of stuff. I don't see it that way. I think there's been a lot of progression with gaming because of the internet, and I think that with all the bullshit that goes on, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think online connectivity is amazing, and it's really brought.
The internet did not ruin gaming. If any, the one thing that could possibly ever ruin gaming is greed. That's it.
Yeah, greed and certain fanboys that just love to bleed this, bleed that, and then listen, man. We're all gamers at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what brand you represent, what brand you go for. It's plain and simple. Do you enjoy gaming? Do you enjoy yourself as a gamer?
I don't even fuck with that shit. Like if this guy's over here telling me that you know, I don't know, let's use the Nintendo thing as an example. That doesn't really affect gaming as a whole because he's most likely a minority anyway, in his opinion. But greed, you know, that kind of shit, that's why we're paying for cheat codes. That kind of stuff is, if anything, that's what I would say is just greed and
we're paying just to access our games online.
Yep.
That is true.
Shit, right. I still own a code breaker for my old PS2 games. I still own that shit, but as far as like if I want to really go back in time and play that shit, I always do once in a while, but I don't really need to use it as much because I know my skill set. I know, you know, what I can do as a gamer and not cheat. But the thing is that I don't know, man, it's like an addiction, like a gambling addiction per se. And I think that's the reasons why these companies are getting hit with the illegal gambling kind of mindset. That it really turns into an addiction, a compulsive addiction of just purchasing something out of impulse. And that should be something that has to be, you know, taken away from gaming literally, because it creates an addiction. People, you know, like how it is being said, it earns a lot of money. The companies see that, and they're going to continue to do these practices until, you know, certain people, certain gamers just say, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm not supporting this no more. You can put it as much as you want, but I'm not going to purchase not one single damn item that locks me out from progressionally going into the game and doing better. Like, just stop it altogether.
Yep. Hey, Craig, you're part of the problem. Those might cheat on puzzles.
Well, it shouldn't be in games. I mean, if I want to play a puzzle game, I'll get Tetris.
Yeah, you're part of the problem.
I mean, you got
shout out to Ice Queen Gaming.
YouTube, man. Like, how
today is Ice Queen's birthday, so everybody give a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ice Queen.
Happy birthday.
Let me go ahead and get this other shit out here. So Sony crossplay. I know we said we just went over that, but you know, Sony pretty much gave into it. They're finally doing it for Fortnite, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. So what do you guys think about
third-party games as well, according to them? Last time I talked to you on air here, I told you it's a matter of time. And
you did.
I meant it because it is a matter of time. It doesn't benefit you in any way to lock yourself off. And as I used the same example before when we talked, games like Project Cars with dead lobbies, things like that, you know, games can live longer. People can play with their friends on co-op on other systems, you know, boot up Skype, chat, whatever. You know, it only provides you with more options, and it doesn't take anything away from you. And according to developers, it's literally a flip of a switch. They want to do it. The fans don't take any negatives from it. Like, why not? And that's why I was blown away. Like, there's people that oppose it simply because Sony opposed it.
Right.
And you want to talk about a sheep. Like, you're not thinking for yourself.
Oh,
you don't benefit from this. So
you hit the nail on the head, man. I've been racking my brain this week trying to figure out all the Twitter posts and all the comments I've seen in videos that are saying, I'm so upset with Sony. And I'm like, why? Why are you upset with
some
Sony?
people say they just gave in, like they gave up on what they believed in or some shit like that for it. I'm like, guys, they just did.
I don't think Sony know what, or people know what Sony believe in.
I'm not going to talk shit to people, but let me know in the chat if anybody out there is really upset over this and why. Tell me why you're upset that Sony.
I'm really not upset at it.
I mean, they were already
the only
doing
thing that I have.
it.
The only problem that I do have with it is that the ones that were advocating for it have seemed to been staying very quiet about it and not saying nothing else in regards to certain practices that are still locking out certain games from the crossplay.
Look, it's just checkmate. I like playing chess, and I've asked several people that at the end of your chess game, your goal is to leave your opponent with no move. So you're going into the biggest earning season, spending season. Microsoft was going to come out and say you can play, this game. Fortnite right now is the biggest online game until probably Call of Duty comes out, and there's no crossplay on Call of Duty. Yeah. But at the end of the day, Fortnite would have been a game that they would have put on their box. I'm serious. They would have put on their box because marketing, that's what you do. Crossplay available with Nintendo. They can put that on their box. They have a bundle deal.
But what they also have to put on their box is, hey, we're the only fuckers that charge you to play a free-to-play game online.
Well,
which is something that we talk about quite a bit. Like, this needs to be getting rid of on the Xbox. Like, you shouldn't
I agree with that. Now, so if you're playing chess, you're taking moves away. Now, Microsoft can't do that. Also, what was another thing Microsoft could advertise? The dealer brought up Game Pass. Sony now has the same ability with more games. Now you can, whether the games are good, that's subjective. They have more games available to download. So you take that away. At the end of the day, dealer's right. Sony's going to have a bundle that says cross-play, free-to-play. Nintendo may have something like that. And Microsoft is now the one having to field questions of how come this game, like dealer says, behind a paywall. So this is checkmate. You take everything away.
I've been
like
dealing with so many people that are saying it doesn't affect me if there's a paywall to play Fortnite because I'm already gold. And I'm like, stop thinking about yourself.
Yeah,
thank you.
Think about when we used to have to pay for gold to watch fucking Netflix, and it was the only device in the world where you had a paywall to watch a free an app with a subscription.
Oh,
and they fixed that, right?
And why did that change?
Same thing with free to play.
Why did that change though? Why did they change the Netflix?
As I know, it was one of the first things that Phil did, and it's policy related. Should have never been there.
People were talking about it. People were speaking up. People were saying, "Hey, take this shit off the paywall." And here's the thing: what some people don't understand, because I see a lot of comments talking about this crossplay being so negative. They don't understand that this is not a forced thing. Like, not every company has to make their games crossplay. Okay, this is a total option. This option is great because the potential, the people that are saying you don't care about crossplay, I was one of you. I said, I really don't give a shit about crossplay. I don't care if I don't play with, other, consoles or anything. But when you take into account crossplay brings cross progression. I can take my account to any of these consoles. Wow. That is what I like. That is amazing because if you're playing a game like Destiny on 2 different accounts, guess what? You don't need to have 2 different accounts. You can play one account everywhere.
I really want to just take my PS4 Warframe account and integrate it into my Steam, Warframe account, and just have all my shit that I grinded for. I have all the stuff that I have in my damn character because I have a fully upgraded Rhino. I have a fully upgraded Excalibur. And I was working on doing Vault. I was working on doing all the other characters, Chroma as well. And I felt when I actually downloaded the Warframe for my PC, I was like, damn, I have to do this shit all over again. Why can't they just, let me take my shit, which I gladly, grinded my ass off, putting hours into it, and put it into my other account.
Take it where you go, and that's something else. That's something else that's inevitable. Whether it's 5 years or 10 years, every console is going to let you play your games where you want to play them. It's a matter of time, and I think that's a good thing because it doesn't take away from my experience. If I want to play it here, I can. If I want to play it over here, I can. What's the benefit of me being forced to play it in one location with one set of people doing one thing? It's just not. And there's gonna be a lot of people that watch this and like, whoa, why? Oh, I didn't, like they don't even know. Like that's one of the biggest problems of the community, as me and Ryan talked about, like the lack of communication, the bullshit between these two fucking idiot sides of people in this community that don't ever go and look at someone's content or know their opinions. They listen to a motherfucker with giant ass teeth and lie to him for an hour, and they don't learn themselves. Fonz knows we do RDX podcast together. We did it together for like a year.
I've heard so much shit about RDX, saying RDX spews bullshit. They all do this. I'm like, okay, let me sit and watch. And I'm like, they didn't lie about shit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You could say something so slow, and some of these guys do not hear it because they don't want to. But my point is, we do that show, and Fonz knows personally. We hammer Microsoft on the paywall. We were the first ones to bring this up, and we've done it several times since. I mean, if it's not pro-consumer, at the end of the day, I mean, obviously I prefer Xbox, but at the end of the day, if it's not pro-consumer, it doesn't win. In my opinion.
You guys could say what you want about me or Luca or whatever, but me and Luca were on that show and we kept it real there. Best believe if something came up, we smashed on it.
And we didn't even need you to smash anything.
No. I'm not talking about the panel necessarily. I'm talking about just issues.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Half of these people, that's how they're going to take it. So at the end of the day, I think that the show does very well for a reason. And, if you haven't listened to it yourself, that's kind of the number one problem. People just don't listen, man.
Yeah.
And the Sony thing is a beta. I was literally trying to explain this to people the other day. Like, it's a beta. If they don't get the numbers that they want from their community, they will close the beta down. They'll just move it to another game. They said they were looking at, if a lot of the free-to-play games, they're going to try this on. They just got to get their numbers. That way they can come back at the end of Q4 and say, here are the hard numbers that we got. Do you want to continue, yes or no? That's what this is about.
And that's the biggest selling point for crossplay. People are not seeing the bigger picture here. People are just thinking, oh, Sony just gave into it. No, there is a limitation to how many people are going to play on crossplay. Depending on how that happens, if it's a go, this is going to be something that's going to actually progress even further. It might even open up to Call of Duty being a cross-platform.
That should have already existed for Call of Duty, though.
Nah, it should, but you already know Activision is going to stay greedy and they're going to lock themselves into their own ambiance. If it goes to to even Warframe itself.
But here's the thing, you take a $60 title like Call of Duty, big huge franchise, right? You're thinking, if there's crossplay, there's no need to buy another copy on that other console, right? But what they can do is enable cross progression, and then you would have to buy a second copy regardless and keep the same account. Right. You know how many people would actually buy 2 copies? They would double dip if they can keep their account.
Yeah. Instead of you having to go with these already created characters, you can create your own and just go with that character throughout the games and grow.
I agree with Dealer 100%. This is the next evolution of gaming. This is the type of stuff that you need to progress forward. And in doing so, you need to break down these walls. And Sony needed to break that wall down. He's right. It was a matter of time. And hopefully they will start doing this stuff, and continue with it.
I'm a little shocked though. Even though it's happened and, there was a lot of people talking about it, demanding, Sony do it. I'm surprised that during that whole ordeal, you really didn't see nobody putting that much pressure on Microsoft when it came to the whole free-to-play, aspect for the game.
Well, because Microsoft again, not to interrupt you, but they got out in front of the message and they drove the message. Now, after the crossplay got enabled, you didn't see anything from Greenberg, Mike Ybarra, even though Mike Ybarra needs to be punched in his throat for being unprofessional as hell, calling people arrogant. Can he be professional enough to say, hey, look, I was out of my mind, upset, so I apologize. Let's see if he at least does that on a professional setting. He don't have to do it on Twitter, but at the end of the day, it is just a beta. And again, if Sony's not worried about the Nintendo people, they're not worried about the Microsoft people. If their number for Fortnite does not go up, doesn't hit a certain mark, they will shut the beta down.
Yeah, I find it hilarious though that the whole outcry for crossplay is regarding a game that is behind a paywall for
exactly.
And that to me is just it's funny. It's like
it baffles you.
Like they had nothing to grab onto, funds, and they figured, okay, this is like a huge negative that they think they can exploit. That's what it felt like, and people just kept trying to like rail it home, and they noticed that people didn't give a shit.
No, I would point out that this went beyond Microsoft. It went beyond either fan base. I mean, this was something that impacted stock. It was on it was on national news networks. I mean, I don't know why it transcended this garbage ass community, but it did, and it did in a big way. And I think the paywall for Xbox, which, like I said, we've been pushing this for a while. I think this is an example of people saying, I don't care because I'm already gold. Why would I complain about it? People are so afraid to criticize a platform because they're afraid of how it makes the platform look to others. And as I said on Twitter, you should worry about how you benefit through criticism itself, right? And they don't do that. I don't know why, but they act like that these companies just get better just because they know what they're doing. No, they get better because they lose $3 billion on Star Wars Battlefront 2. They get better because people hammer them when they do dumb shit. You know, that's the only reason it happens. Money.
Yep.
But haven't they already made that up? I mean, with the money, the Sony stock went down one day, but at the end of that week, they closed up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying at the end of the day, it would have been better if it wouldn't have went down at all.
Oh, well, yeah, but that's stocks. I mean, come on now. I agree.
That wasn't even the point, though. My point is that it definitely was on news networks that I would have never thought, like, why is this on here? You know, who gets, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Yeah, long term. At the end of the day, it's let the wait and see. I guess what I got out of people was that they think there's a competitive imbalance. That's why people got mad when Durant went to Golden State. They didn't give a shit that he had the right to go. It was
and that's another good point.
There's a competitive imbalance. So you have media. You do have media covering the consoles, and they're like, look, Sony is so far ahead. They're doing so well this gen. They should make games for everybody. That's what I've actually gotten that an undertow from several people. I heard a guy, a matter of fact, I don't know who it was. It was on RDX. The guy literally said, I don't remember who it was, and it was at the beginning of the summer. He said, I shouldn't be punished for the console that I bought. I'm like, yes, you should be punished. What are you, 5? If you bought something and it's not performing to your level, go get something else.
I don't know if it was on there. I mean, it probably, if somebody said something like that, it probably had a lot to do with context. I don't know who it was or what they were talking about, but I do get what you're saying. Like, it's just one of those things where the tallest trees catch the most wind, as they always have. And Sony's up there. The eyes are on Sony. They're doing better than they ever have, making more money than they ever have. But ultimately, both brands are more profitable than they've ever been. And I think the industry is extremely healthy. It's time to get rid of something as common sense as a paywall for a free-to-play game, especially when you just released a console bundle. You just released a console bundle that you have to be an Xbox Live member to even play the game. Fortnite bundle just came out. You got to have Xbox Live to play the free game.
Does it come with Xbox Live?
It better.
You gave it access to the fucking thing.
You got gold, man. That's the first message that pops up.
That's so fucked
and
up.
the funny part about it,
I'm sure it came. I mean, all of them come with gold. I'm sure that one came with like a decent amount of gold. It better have, but I'm not sure on this.
It better be at least $2 or some shit.
I would say a year. I bought this console bundle for Fortnite, and I don't get a year of the game for free online. Come on.
Now, can we honestly say, fellas? That even though we're talking about the whole crossplay and cross progression inset, can we honestly say that if this pushes that narrative, can they actually just stop charging us for playing online? If down the line, I'm not saying now, down the line, because if I can go to PC, turn my bitch on, and go on Fortnite to play for free without even needing, I'm just me paying my internet service provider, which is whatever cable company you're using.
Right, that should be retail cost. That's all you're doing.
I mean, you paid for that online when you bought that fucking game. So I like it. Once again, it might seem like I'm hammering Microsoft a lot here, but I've covered all this over and over. It goes beyond that. I can literally get on Forza Horizon 4, play with my friends on my Xbox, be in a party with them, be in an online session with them. Just simply reach over, turn on my fucking PC, jump back in the game on the PC, join their party, play online with them for fucking free.
Yep.
It makes no sense. So there's not a paywall on the PC, even because they know they can't do it. For one, people get around it, but you should never be paying to play online in the first place.
Then you're already paying for it.
Thank you. That is the fact. Here's a question for the panel here from Samuel. Do you think EA, Activision, or Ubisoft will implement crossplay into their biggest games?
It might not. It all depends. You got to understand, this whole crossplay thing is pretty brand new to them, so they're gonna have to find certain ways to actually have the publishers themselves agree upon, the terms. How much profit are they gonna gain from it, with user engagement and everything else included? It's not something that's gonna be from night to day that you're just gonna say, here, have this, have at it. No, they're gonna actually statistically analyze everything that is going into the crossplay. It's not going to be something that you're just going to say here and then, ooh, Mary Poppins, here you go, have fun. No, it doesn't work that way. It really doesn't.
Xbox has no games in the chat. Great name, buddy. I'm sure you're not a big problem in the community. He says that it was the 360 era that basically started people paying for online. And guess what? You guys said that Sony would never do it because they cared that much for you. So consider that. They went down the same fucking path, knowing exactly what you radicals were preaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no, because Sony is still in beta mode with this whole thing. So, and everybody has been ripping. I mean, they have been toilet ripping Bethesda for the last 2 to 3 days over what they just did with Fallout 76. So I'm going to say no, not until Sony comes out and says, we're going to make this permanent, because all they're going to say right now is when you talk to Sean Layton, they're going to say, hey, do you think you'll do crossplay with Call of Duty or Destiny? They're going to turn around and say, well, we're in beta right now with Fortnite. We're testing out our networks to see how it's going to go. That's all you're going to get from them right now on this.
And if I remember correctly, didn't Bethesda make a big deal about crossplay? They said that Sony was holding everybody back X amount of things as if they were going to go
holding hostage.
Crossplay. Yeah. now
again, I would say
not doing the shit.
The company that they in line with, Microsoft, is getting kicked in their balls. Yeah. So I would say whatever I needed to say to help get it moving. So we'll just have to wait to see if Sony keeps it in play. Sony is still trying to
Fallout 76.
Bethesda aren't supporting crossplay.
No,
well, I mean, for one, Sony say it's a beta for Fortnite, but they will be introducing select third-party games. What is the problem keeping Bethesda from doing it if that's the case? Did they talk about that yet?
They haven't even said nothing yet.
I know for a fact they just said they're not doing it. I think I got the article here. They said they're not doing it. But
the Fortnite thing or after?
No, this is for Bethesda in general.
Yeah.
I think it was after. It was after Sony announced that they are doing the crossplay for.
That's weird. Why would you do that? Why would they say they're not doing it and not try at least?
There you go.
That's odd.
Well, they may try next year. Who knows?
I mean, the whole game is just a giant beta for the next big Bethesda. They said it's Fallout 4's multiplayer prototype, and they're running a beta alongside the full game's release.
Yeah.
So it's just a big fucking beta for the next Elder Scrolls multiplayer, is what it is.
Yep.
I mean, that doesn't mean it's not going to be full of content and fun. Don't get me wrong. I got a pre-order, but that's just what it is. They're trying to learn from this.
Yep. I don't get it though. Like, I really don't. Like, so many fucking questions in that one statement. Like, we're not going to do crossplay, but you lobbied for this shit for how long now?
Whew, they've been.
Well, let's look at football. Would you tell if you need a quarterback on your football team? Would you not go to his house and say, "Son, you come to my school, I'm going to start you. You come to my school, I'm going to start you." I mean, they do. Bethesda did the exact same thing. I mean, you're getting killed. Your parent company that you really do a lot of your business with getting killed. They're like, "Yeah, son, come to my school. We're going to do this." That's all they did.
Well, somebody in the chat brings up that card game, which is good because I forgot all about that. Yeah, that was the thing they were really pushing crossplay for, was this damn card game.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that Yu-Gi-Oh knockoff.
I don't know. I don't.
It was like Wint, right? Was it Wint or some shit? Some
Legends or Blades or something. Yeah, something. I don't know.
Come on, man. Like if you're gonna actually chase for something for a cause, not for a need, man.
Thank you.
That's the sad part about this whole thing with Bethesda. With Bethesda, they're chasing for a need, not for the cause. Like what's the cause behind what you're saying, rather than not the need.
I wouldn't count them out. I'm gonna say they're gonna hang back and see what third parties and how that works with Sony and how easy that process is. Because remember, so a lot of things like that with Sony, their policies and the way they handle a lot of stuff, even the mods, they had to go through a lot of hoops just to get mods on the console. So I think they're gonna let that process refine itself through experience, and then they're gonna kind of jump in later. You might end up seeing it if other games start doing it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Okay, so name changes. Does anybody even give a shit about the ability to change your name on PlayStation?
Not me, but I do know a lot of people that do care. A lot of people are running around with some fucked up names.
I made this joke before. There's some guy, he's been Dildo Gaggins for 12 years. Is he ready to change?
God damn.
He wants a new name. He's tired of being Dildo Gaggins.
My thing is this though. If you're dumb enough to call yourself something stupid like that, I mean, that's an L for you. You probably didn't give a shit.
Think about this. Let me give you a little backstory here. Say you're 12 years old, okay, and you make your name Turtlehead Lover.
Possibility.
Okay? You're Turtlehead
Lover.
You're Turtlehead Lover for forever on PlayStation.
Oh God.
I mean, why not offer it, right, Fonz? Like, what is the harm? Like, at the very least, like, yeah, maybe they got to pay $10 to change their fucking name, but it doesn't really affect the guy next to him, and it is just a name change, right?
Yeah. I don't know so hard about doing that.
Sony did not think it was a big deal, or as big a deal as it is. There's a chance that this has caught them with their pants down.
Bro, I've seen so many different PSN names that I'm just like, what?
I mean, one dude's name was Cat Butt, for fuck's sake.
No, bro. I saw one that was just like, bang, bang, ski, ski, hoot, hoot. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Like I ran into a guy a couple years ago. His name was Dragon and Frog. And I'm sure he was a little kid, He's not going to want to be Dragon Frog when he's 28,
Yeah, man. your decisions when it comes to your actual screen names, man, y'all got to really think it through, especially on the Sony side, because it'll be there for a long time.
Well, my question is, what is hard about changing that? What is hard? Is it something? I don't
even know. I think is since it's tied to the account in any form of way, and you have to literally like backtrack to the PlayStation 3 servers and find the actual name, the information. I think the backpedaling part is the problem with Sony. They don't
maybe something in their algorithm. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's got to be something to do with their security system.
Anyway, think about on any other platform out there, any of them. If you were unable to change your name, you'd be like, "What the fuck?"
But here's the thing: that kind of, and I don't want to start anything here, but it kind of scares me a little bit in their security system if they can't do something as simple as let you change your username.
Well, we know the security system's not the greatest.
Try to remember they got hacked by a state sponsor. Now, I'm not making any excuses, but they could have some different kind of protocol in now.
Yeah, and they don't really want to get exposed again.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of variables.
Yeah, they don't want to be hacked, so maybe there was something with the network that just won't allow it. But I really think that it's calling with their pants down in the sense that probably on the list of things to make their system better, this was way down on the list.
I think Slomo said the best. He said it's a database administration thing. Sony didn't do it efficiently when they first started PSN, and they never considered name changes then. So
that's facts, Slomo. That's facts.
Yeah, that's true.
The PS3 didn't even launch with online in a lot of territories. I think that whole infrastructure was rushed, and I think
it was
the fact that 77 million accounts were compromised in the first couple of years. Is
shows it. Yeah.
That's because they wrote everything down on paper and they lost the files.
They put it on a floppy disk.
Damn, a floppy disk, man. You couldn't even imagine that, all those names inside of a floppy disk, bro. That's crazy.
It's a big disk.
Scary.
It is inevitable, though. PlayStation names, it will happen. It's a matter of time.
Nah, it'll happen.
It'll happen next gen. There you go.
It's just guys, pick better names, man. Don't call yourself Dildo Lover or
Dildo Gaggins
or whatever freaking name that comes up in your head. Just pick something simplistic, understandable, and non-sexual. That's it.
Facts. Oh man, that shit right there. Stability update, Dub. Y'all wonder what that was. Stability update. A damn journalist, a supposed journalist, got exposed. He lied. There's not no damn name change.
You know what? I want to bring up the Bethesda thing real quick because you know, it kind of. I watched Porter Rock's video today, and he had some good points there. If Bethesda was truly trying to do crossplay, why did they enable that between Xbox and PC at all? Like, why was the weight on Sony? Why was all the weight on Sony?
Well, again, I said today, literally, there's a competitive imbalance, and that's going to always, people are going to always fall or default. Like I said, they're going to default Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors. They can't. There's people in the media that attacked Kevin Durant for exercising his free agency right because it was going to cause a competitive imbalance. So I think that's what we're all coming back to. Everybody wants Sony to do everything.
I think speaking out about something.
Oh, you a savage for that name, bro.
Yo, slow mo, you're a funny dude, man.
Well, on the other side of the coin, though, is it easy to just implement crossplay for the game? Let's say that, you know, they initially wanted crossplay, but Sony had turned them down a while back ago, and they got that out of their minds. And is it something that they can easily implement? I don't even know the intricacies about it. I don't know how it works, so I can't tell you. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't know how it works.
Well, I think I said this earlier. Like, the developers who have talked about it said it's like a flip of a switch.
Oh, okay.
To the point where, like, they did do it in Fortnite before now, right? And the only reason people knew is because some users, in the Xbox and PlayStation games, some people had certain spaces and underscores that other PlayStation or Xbox users couldn't. You're not allowed to make names with those. So,
well, then I'm going to come out and say, if Bethesda doesn't do that with this game, then they're just full of shit.
Yeah. Maybe they're just speaking out because they know this is something that should just happen anyway.
But you don't do that. You don't act like a cocksucker and get your, because it's not about Sony at this point. It's about the gamers. You're getting some of these gamers, hyped up about it, and then you're gonna just let them down and say, "Oh no, we don't have plans for that." Fuck you.
We changed our mind. What had happened was,
Well, what about PUBG? Is that crossplay between PC and Xbox?
No, thank God.
Because don't bring that behemoth of shit over here, man.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, that's a big game. It's an online shooter, and why is that not crossplay,
bro? You know how much performance problems that game will have.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Maybe
you can't handle frame rate, let alone crossplay. You know, that team over there is, I don't know what the fuck is going on over there. You see Call of Duty. Call of Duty looks twice as good, twice the frame rate, twice as smooth, none of the problems, and it's in beta form. And this team's over here, I don't know, like, they're developing the game in a dumpster. It's a Spanish team that's doing the Xbox port, by the way.
Bro,
it's not even
the problem is Bluehole Games, they're using a 1993 Windows Microsoft operating system to actually upgrade the game. That's why they're having problems.
Why would they do that though when it's on Unreal Engine 4? Like,
I remember I fired up the game on my phone and it ran better than the Xbox One X version. And I was dumbfounded.
Wow.
Like, what the fuck?
This is the team, man. I don't know what's going on over there.
Oh,
even Fortnite's on the same exact engine as PUBG, and it 60 FPS. The game looks amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely not a knock against the X, man. The X is a great console. It's just that this Bluehole, they're just trash. They're terrible.
That's fucking.
People were saying buy Bluehole. It's like, what do you mean? They lucked out with the mod. Why should they?
Not only that, didn't they want to sue Fortnite?
Yeah, because of the idea they stole from a different game got stolen from them. Stop stealing our stolen ideas.
That shit doesn't make no sense. It really doesn't. Like they just gotta fix this game completely. I mean, come on, you made people pay $30 fucking for a beta.
Pretty much. It is in full release now. Yeah. If you, the game preview, people knew that game was fucked, and it's even crazier. It does run better now, but for some reason, instead of just lowering the game to like 1800p or 1440p to solve temporary bug caused performance
that would be
issues,
perfect. That would have been perfect.
Yeah. Like now they're lowering all the settings to deal with this issue, this hot fix they're calling it, because there's some issue going on with the Xbox version of the game where it's just stuff's happening. I don't know what happened, but basically they're putting everything on like lower settings instead of just reducing it to 1800 or 1440p, because the game runs at 4K, and I'm like, why are you running it at 4K? It obviously isn't GPU related. Then it's all CPU stuff, and those guys just don't know what they're doing.
I think it's a huge idea to put PUBG in general in 4K.
I can't, bro. Like when I first played it on because when I downloaded it, I played it on the old ass ATI Radeon 7850, and it practically ran well. When I got the RX 580, I played it at 1440/60, and I was like, "Damn, this shit."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not GPU restricted. It's the fucking Jag. It's even that CPU, and that's why I brought up Fortnite and Call of Duty. Fortnite's on the same engine, double the frame rate, which is that CPU overhead related. Right? They need the draw call overhead to free up the GPU to render double the frames. They can't do that on Fortnite. They can't even hit a lock 30. They got a rock solid 27 frames per second when you're in a car in that game. You know, like it's just they can't even do the basics right now.
Yeah, they need to. I
don't understand.
I want a refund. Damn it,
behind that too.
I want a fucking refund.
Yeah, I don't understand the mindset behind that though, dealer. Because remember, they put a lot of resources into the X with the new GPU and them overclocking the CPU. Why not just go and put a better CPU in there in general? It don't have to be crazy good, but it just has to be
an APU. It's an APU, and the GPU portion of that APU is completely custom. It's a great, right? But they didn't have the Ryzen APU, just wasn't ready at the time, so they had no choice. I don't know. And if it had a Ryzen APU, I would have called it a next generation console because it would have been capable of so much more in terms of effects and frame rates. I mean, but yeah, it's the same thing: faster GPU, more L2 cache, higher clock, stuff like that on the CPU side. And as I just referenced, Fortnite, Call of Duty, the CPU, as weak as it is, even though it's the fastest console CPU, it's not the problem when it comes to this game. It's the team behind the game.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel they could have just gotten like a Intel variant, but not a mobile version CPU, rather, desktop style base.
Yeah, that Super Z Plus had me thinking maybe the PS5 and new Xbox would go in that realm. I don't know if y'all heard about it.
Yeah, at this point, if they're willing to just port the mobile version over to the X, I think it's better.
Damn, Fonz. Damn, Fonz.
They're adding mouse and keyboard.
Don't let the Xbox team port it over. Those guys will make it run at 27 frames too.
or just Bluehole. If I'm gonna be quite honest, if you can't deal with the game, then give it to somebody else. Let's say like Epic Games to actually work on the game itself, because they are the proprietary providers of the Unreal Engine, and they know how to work every single quirk that's in that game. Yep. So just give it to Epic. Let Epic have some fun with the bitch.
Microsoft were going to get really behind this game in terms of technology, right? There was one point where Bluehole was actually going to utilize Sea of Thieves water in the game. They were going to use water tech from Rare. All that stuff, like I said, they didn't do any of that. They ended up, let's just have a flat texture and it looks like dog shit. They just didn't go through with any of that. And I feel like they could have used those technology teams that Microsoft offers to get the game running good. I don't know what the fuck's going on with it.
Yep.
No clue.
Man, you had me dying when you were talking about the celebrities for Forza, by the way. And I use that term loosely.
Megan is still hot, man.
The way he kept saying.
You're marketing to 12-year-olds. They don't even know who Megan Fox is, let alone if she gets fucking chocolate milk sprayed in her mouth. Like, it has nothing to do with the damn game. They didn't. I'm like I said, man. There's guys in denial about Microsoft's marketing for Xbox. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm a fan of the Xbox. That's my preferred ecosystem. It does what I like it to do. And then, obviously, I've already spoken about the game several times. They're working on those. But at the end of the day, I prefer the box. There's nothing I can do about that. And I want that box to have more hype behind it. That will drive more sales for more games. And that equals more investment for even more games in the future. People think I just want Microsoft to sell more. I'm doing it for me. It's a selfish reason. I want games to be hyped, so they sell more, so I get better games. That's what it equals.
Why did they put the silly goggles on all these celebrities?
I don't fucking know, man.
Yo, Tyrese skid was just the funniest. How you gonna put chocolate on chocolate? That shit had me fucking rolling, man.
I stuck that in there for a split second. It just doesn't work. You know, it just doesn't. I don't like that kind of marketing. It's like an older approach, and I expect better from them. So.
Arsenic. You gotta understand, man. Intel CPUs, they're pretty good when it comes to game stability, man. They are pretty.
They're the best, but the problem is Intel don't make an APU, and consoles will never not use APUs going forward. They're just far more power efficient. They're far cheaper. They're going to go with AMD as long as that's the cost-effective option, and they provide APUs. So with Ryzen, you won't need the Intel, for example. Like the Intel's more efficient, but keep in mind, you're talking about desktop class CPUs that consume twice or triple the power. You know, this is a console where the whole box is 245 watts, and that's in the X's case. So, you know, low power draw, efficiency, cost, it's all very important.
Yep.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that plays a key partial role into it. But it's just, I don't know, man. Mobile CPUs, they're not my thing, man. I've never liked the performance on mobile CPUs.
Yeah, this is a mobile CPU, but their next APU is going to be like a proper, like the CPU in the PS4 and Xbox One right now is basically 2 quad-core mobile CPUs strapped together, right? 8 cores. Yes, that is what you would call a mobile CPU on crack. It's still slow. It doesn't do its job very well. But with the next gen stuff, it's a proper APU. Like it's how it should be. It's an actual much higher efficiency on every single operation.
So with that being said, what kind of AMD Ryzen chip are we looking into, and per se, in the realms for the next gen?
Well, we know you're looking at 8 cores. I don't know if it'll have SMT or anything like that, but at the end of the day, how my question was, what kind of variance could there be between the next Xbox and the next PlayStation, right? Because the architectures are there, and how much different could you be? Could one of them kind of say, all right, we're going to pay a little more and do this, and actually, you know what, we're going to get simultaneous multi-threading as well. So we might only have 8 cores, but we got 16 threads. Who's going to take that leap, and who's going to stay at 8 core, 8 thread? Right? Who's going to go and do that kind of stuff?
Or a slightly higher overclock to compensate for, you know.
And then you got to
I think it'll be based on what the first party developers of each studio wants.
No, they want power. We know that.
Well, I agree. But you know, Sony's going to do, if they go to Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch and Gorilla, and they all kind of agree, we can use this to do what we need to do. Then that's what they're going to put out, and they're going to say, "Here's what we got." Third-party developers, be damned. Here's what's coming. And Microsoft may do something different, similar. One may be more Vega architecture.
I think that's what made the PS4 such a great piece of tech at launch. Is 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 in 2013. I was like, holy shit! And Microsoft, people got to remember, the original Xbox One was not ready. It was rushed. That's why it was so big, and that's why it had ESRAM. Instead of 8 gigabytes of GDDR5, they went with DDR3. They did not know Sony were using DDR5, so they slapped ESRAM on it and doubled the bandwidth. It went from 96 gigs to 196, somewhere around there, where Sony was just over 200. They had to use ESRAM, even though it made developing harder to compete. You know, they didn't do it because, this is great. Developers fucking hate it, but we're going to use it anyway. They had no choice. And that's what I'm saying. The box was so huge they just were caught off guard. The X1 didn't even have friendless notifications in 2013. It was so rushed that you couldn't even tell when your friend got online. So, you know, I think it's come a long way, bro. The S is what should have launched, of course, without the 4K drive. But the S, they could have made it back then. They just didn't have the time. They got caught off guard.
And me and Fonz talked about this. I think it was I forgot which episode it was, Fonz, but we talked about it. Remember how Microsoft said they found the key to the whole streaming bullshit with consoles? That's scary. That really is scaring the fuck out of me with these new consoles. I don't know about you, dealer, but you know, they're gonna have a variant. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have one that's gonna be streaming only and one that's gonna be your traditional.
Yep. I think it's smart. And this is the difference. So I will explain this real quick. And I know I've been going this tech bullshit for a minute. Yeah. But this is what separates. This is what separates something like the Scarlet. And I'm hearing Sony are working on something similar, by the way. So you expect this from both sides because it is smart. Pay 100, $125, maybe 150 if they're stupid. And you get a box where you can stream all of the games that you already own. Now, people will say that streaming sucks. And yes, there's a ton of latency on something like PS Now. It's not the greatest service. There are better streaming services, NVIDIA's, for instance, right? But what Microsoft are doing different that actually makes me say, okay, this is possible and it could work if it's done perfectly, is what I like to call hardware interlacing, where they're running all of the low latency tasks like animation, character movement, shooting on the local CPU of that box, right? And they are streaming in the static objects and the things that don't necessarily need low response in the background with your internet, right? So that's why I think this could work, is because your latency is exponentially lower when you're running those fast things on the box. So I don't know if they do it that way and it doesn't use a shit ton of bandwidth and internet, which I'm hearing pretty decent things about that. Then this could appeal.
The thing about it though, and a lot of people fail to realize, a lot of people do not have like crazy good internet. Like there are some people who have like 5 megabits.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. That's what I was hearing, is that they're able to do this on a little under 5 megabytes.
Oh wow, really?
And this includes scalable resolutions. So say you're at 5, I'm just spitballing here, right? But say you're at 5 megs, because remember, on live in 2008, you only needed 8 megabytes per second to stream games. Okay, so consider that as well. But let's say you're at 5 megs, that only allowed you to stream 720p 60 frames, for instance, right? Let's say you got 10, it automatically, it's like Netflix. You got the bandwidth, boom, you get the resolution. When you don't, it drops. So it's one of those things where if they have to pull this off, they have to do it perfectly for it to stand a chance in the market, and that's going to be very hard for them to do. But it is interesting.
Well, here's the thing, and this is the one thing that people fail to discuss. Look, a streaming device is, if it's perfect and it runs great, fantastic for some people, okay? But at the end of the day, if your internet is out, you're not playing any of those games streaming. And
that's something that you know when you buy that box, though, hopefully, right? Like you got to know that. Just like you buy a Roku and you know the bitch don't work without internet. Exactly. And also something else is data caps. How are Microsoft going to cope with those data caps? Are they able to do compression properly and help? There's a lot of challenges.
I got a 1 terabyte data cap, and I go over that some bitch every month.
Yep. So
and you got to take into account your provider caps you, but the actual systems do with Sony and Microsoft, they cap you. You don't get your full access. So
yeah, I think the Ethernet only supports like 300 megabytes on either one right now or something.
So that's kind of a shame as well. But I mean, it's a lot of questions though. It's definitely a lot of questions for next gen going in there. Definitely,
it's interesting. Yeah.
Telltale Games came out and said they're not finished with The Walking Dead, meaning that they will finish it. I know a lot of people were afraid that you would not get your last episodes for the final season, so they will finish that. And you will
I heard that they were looking for financial backing from the public for that.
Yeah.
Are they?
I'm not sure if that's true or not. I did hear about that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's true, but I do know that the God of War developer Cory Barlog, he actually went on Twitter. I don't know if y'all saw his tweets, but he actually started to talk about the whole situation, and he went directly to them, face to face, basically. And he was talking about how they laid off 250 employees.
Wow.
But he was saying, like actually, let me rephrase that. Actually, 255 employees, and they, he's telling them, look, if you're gonna lay off these people, do right by them. You know what I'm saying? Pay them before you let them go and all this. So it's
like the question is, can they pay them? And who has mismanaged this bucket of money they used to have? What happened?
Well, according to a lot of things out here, the last profitable game that they legit had was the first Walking Dead game. Lee. That was the one that was the biggest one.
What was that, like fucking, what was that, 6 years ago? They should have figured.
Well, the death of Telltale comes down to, there's Twitch has blood on their hands. Okay. I hate to say it that way, but people are watching these games being played, the Telltale games. They're not buying them. I mean, my daughter, my kids, I know so many kids out there that watch these games being played. And I'm like, wouldn't you rather play it? And they said, no, it's fine. I can watch it. It's like a little movie. I'm like, that's the problem with those type of games. You literally just sit there and watch it and get satisfaction, I guess. Some people can. And that's what happened to most of these games from Telltale. So, I mean, it was inevitable, I guess. Nothing changed within their games, their mechanics, everything, their graphics, everything was stayed the same pretty much.
Yeah, even with the new engine, not much really changed with the new engine. It's pretty much the same thing. The way you move around, X amount of things, it's the same. But in terms of like profit, the first one was the most profitable. The second one was up there, but it wasn't on the same. It wasn't the same as that one. And I think they said the biggest fail in terms of money was the Batman Telltale. The Batman Telltales did not bring in hardly anything.
Yeah, so it wasn't really financially benefiting for them.
Yeah. And that says a lot because Batman is Batman. You know what I'm saying? Usually you slap Batman's name on something and sells, but apparently not for Telltale. It didn't do well. And I don't even think The Wolf Among Us did that crazy well as either.
Honestly, I think a big part of that lies with their technology team. They were running these dog shit, like visually dog shit games at like 720p on the PS4 and Xbox. And they would hitch and they had all kinds of problems. And I'm of the mind that if they had a good technology team and they had their own engine, like they were supposed to be working on a new engine, right? I'm sure all you guys heard about that, to update and get rid of this trash when they were using. I think that would have kind of pushed gamers. Like imagine if any of these games looked fucking badass, like really, really good. You're probably a little more compelled to pick them up. I know I would.
Yeah. Somebody brought up Life is Strange, but Life is Strange looks and plays better, to be honest, than the Telltale series of games.
Yeah, it's polished, a little more polished.
It's different. But yeah, some people do watch those games as well. I mean, they'd get more sales too, I guess. Yeah, Twitch is fucking over a lot of companies by just putting these games out there for kids to watch.
Facts.
I
hate dead air. I hate dead air. I'd say something.
Yeah. I signed up twice.
Hey,
guys. Anybody there? Are we the only ones here now?
Yeah, oh, no. I'm still here. I'm just listening to you.
I was listening to you. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're lliterally only talking because no one else is.
Okay. 343 should fail, says DF. What?
343 should fail because I hate competition.
Yeah, no, I don't call for the failure of anybody, any developer, really.
I want my goddamn Halo, bro. That's all I got to say.
I'm looking forward to Infinite. I think they got their teeth kicked in with 5, as they should have, with that narrative sucked. And I think the multiplayer was good, but that story, Halo 5 story, was just not great. And Infinite is looking to take it back, make it more open world, and maybe switch some things up, man. Gears 5, I don't think a lot of people understand or realize that is a like quasi open world type game. You can take that ice sled and drive it in the desert, for instance. Like it's kind of like an open world game, which is interesting to me to take Gears in that direction.
I tried to.
That's good. I like the risk. I like that.
I tried to play through that dog shit story of Halo 5 twice. I played it a second time, gave it another shot, and I was like, this is just so
What do you expect, bro? Like Locke, you start the game as Locke, you don't know what the fuck you're there. You're just shooting the most. I'm not a fan of the fucking see, they're so generic, I forgot their names. The robot motherfuckers. The Prometheans, right? Yeah, they're so generic and boring, and I was like, why am I here? And why am I blasting them? And they're telling me the story over a voiceover behind the sound of my gun. And the whole opening cutscene, they didn't allow you. Like when God of War let me dodge Boulder's punches while I'm sitting on the ground, I'm fucking bobbing and weaving on my back, right? I was like, okay, this would have been a cutscene if it were from many other studios. They would have made this a cutscene, but they let me do this in real time. And I think more developers need to realize that the reason, something like Uncharted stood out to me is because they let me winch the damn tree. It wasn't a cutscene. It's the little things. It's the little things that add up like that.
I agree. And just wait till Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out. Man, the details I'm hearing from that game is going to push the open world genre.
We know the first thing you're doing, you're looking at horse.
Not destroyed by microtransactions. That's the only thing.
No, I'm talking about the single player experience.
Oh man, shrinking testicles. Shrinking testicles will be the failure of the game.
Think about it. Here's the thing. Little details in games goes a long way, man. For me especially. So
especially shrinking balls, yes.
Yeah, look, man. If
y'all hear about that? 105 gigabytes for it.
Oh my God.
I'm all for realism, right?
Yeah.
Under 5 gigabytes.
I'll be ready to download all that realism. 100.
A lot of dialogue.
Yeah, I'm gonna really have to like let go of
Hope you're ready to
a couple of few games.
That's a lot of realism you got to download.
I'll take it. I'll take all the goddamn realism. All of it.
Damn, 105.
That's counting all the assets, right? Or is it more with X?
Most of that is audio. Most of any game's file size is audio. So there's a lot of dialogue in this game, and that means there's probably a lot of good narratives, like side narrative and stuff. I'm hoping.
I love how.
Wait, wasn't Forza like about close to like 110 gigs at one point?
With 4K assets from the PC, yes, it was close to 100 gigs.
God damn.
But that's what you pay for. That's what a box has 12 gigs of GDDR5. Like you buy the $500 box to take advantage of what the components can do. And I don't hear a lot of PC guys complaining. It's the same size on PC, like 100 gigabytes, whatever, you know. Quantum Break, people were saying that was 170 gigs, but over 70 of that was the fucking show in 4K or whatever. Like,
yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be a busy fucking month. Tell you that much. Is anybody getting Odyssey in here?
I am. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Yeah.
So you getting the day one deal? You getting the day one Odyssey?
I'm waiting for, like I said, this is, I don't like the team's track record. I'm going to hold on. It's not like the reviews don't come out until after the game. I'm going to wait. If the reviews are good, I'll pick it up.
All right. I'm going to hold you to this because I see a video saying what they did amazing with Odyssey.
Like, how I flopped on Odyssey. I don't know. I'm not completely convinced, but the more I see, the more I'm interested.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for it too.
Yeah.
I like the story. I like the timeline. So I'm following it. So I'll be getting it. I'm gonna stream it. So hopefully it's fun.
Yeah.
Wait.
Playing as a cool character.
Read J Love's comment real quick.
Who's?
J Love.
J Love at Dealer Fake Gaming. There was never any competition when the PS1 entered into the gaming market. Microsoft never came close to PlayStation sales.
Well, Microsoft's console wasn't around the PS1, but the Nintendo 64 was, and I believe the Nintendo 64 dominated the market at the time when they first launched.
What is this? Why is he even bringing this up? Is J Love not even on the same page here? I mean, does J Love know that I murder motherfuckers? Never let the guy on the mic speak. By the way, when you're saying some dumb shit in the chat, just a pro tip there. So we didn't even talk about the PlayStation 1. We didn't nothing to do with PS1. So
yeah. Sure.
Well, he's talking about the 5th generation of console there. I mean, like, how far back you want to go, man? Let's just go to Atari 2600.
Hey, back when the Xbox didn't exist, it wasn't competition. All right, cool. Then Microsoft, I think, were helping Sega with their Dreamcast at the time, which died, of course. So
yeah. So all right. Any other questions? Anybody got any questions from the chat? We will answer, but we're pretty much at the end here.
Go ahead, shoot, damn it. Give us something to talk about.
We'll answer 3 or 4 questions, and we'll close the show. Definitely hit that like button, everybody. Hit that like button.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, y'all all quiet now. Y'all can't say nothing on the chat, man. Come on.
Well, I know somebody just went out PS1 smoked in 64.
Oh, no, lifetime sales. Yeah, it's smoked.
Yeah, if you mean lifetime, yeah.
Oh, 64 got crushed, but that doesn't make that. I mean, just because the Wii, for instance, crushed the 360 and the PS3 doesn't mean those other 2 systems weren't amazing.
No,
it doesn't matter.
The thing is, when they first came out, Nintendo 64 was definitely competition for the PS1.
And in big games like, for instance, Final Fantasy, that was originally a Nintendo game, but they couldn't fit it on that cartridge, so it went to Sony. Like, they limited themselves, as Nintendo do often. They did it again with the GameCube, the very next generation, with the proprietary 1 gigabyte disc there, or whatever it was. They held themselves back by some proprietary stuff, and they stuck with cartridges and got destroyed.
Yeah. And that's what happened, because I mean, look, I don't even go look this shit up yourself. The Nintendo 64 did dominate them in the beginning. It was only towards the end of the 5th generation that the PS1 pulled ahead. That's because they stuck with like Dealer said, they stuck with cartridges. I mean, I know
at
this.
The beginning,
look, guys, kids, I was around back then. I remember.
No, you know what's so funny, Fonz? Like, I'm gonna go along with you too, because I'm an old school player too, and I grew up playing both PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64. Yes, graphically, the Nintendo 64 was the strongest console at that time.
No, I'm not even talking about graphics. I'm just talking about sales.
And sales, and the reasons why I'm saying that is because Nintendo marketed every single Nintendo exclusive on the 64 strategically in every region of the planet. That is the reason why they had a bigger, stronger presence in the world than Sony at that time. Now, down the line, as time progressed, as how we were, stating with the integration of the disc and cartridge, that was the failure for them. But as far as exclusives, Nintendo 64 had a freaking great library. You had Turok, you had Doom, you had a crap load of fucking damn games. Wave Runner 64, yes, that was a crazy game. I mean, what other game? Cruising USA.
It was good times, man. It was good times in that system.
Come on, man! Like you had perfect
Back
Dark.
We didn't have borders on which platform.
GoldenEye 64, man. Like, come on, you had
GoldenEye was fire, bro.
Bro, you had a lineup on Nintendo 64 that was just fucking crazy. Killer Instinct wasn't as great. I wouldn't call it a great title for them because it really didn't sell well for them. But Zelda, all Zelda games sold pretty damn well. Pokemon games sold well in the 64. The list goes on. The only problem is that after the Steam had ran out for them, that's when Sony picked up with more exclusives, more better titles, better games, better marketing, better peripherals, and that's where Sony really killed Nintendo in that generation.
Let's not forget too, though, that those cartridges were expensive. They were like $75 for a game as opposed to $50 for the PlayStation sometimes. And they also had the expansion pack where some games you couldn't even play them really without the expansion pack. Like what the game was meant to be, you needed that RAM extension slot upgrade, right? The red thing with the red thing on top. So, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things that Nintendo did, but what I do remember is that it was fun. Trey BK says, how are they going to make up for the lack of PSX this year? I don't think they need to make up for it. I think PSX actually ruined one of their last E3s because that made them hold Last of Us off until that December instead of sticking it on that year's E3, which I thought was one of the PlayStation's worst E3s.
Oh, you talking about when they were on the couch? Talking about that one?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, consolidate your content, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the main stuff we got, though, because Spartan God asked me when y'all think they're going to announce the PS5 now. Again, you got Ghost of Tsushima, which is rumored for next year. You got Last of Us Part 2 for next year.
Days Gone.
Days Gone for February. So it could very well drop like I would
March.
say 2020. I want to say 2020.
I'd say Ghost is definitely 2020. Days, Death Stranding's 2020. I think you'll get Days Gone, and I think you'll get Last of Us 2. Which you know, Last of Us by itself, it's instantaneous Game of the Year contender. So,
yeah.
Didn't the first Last of Us, did it kind of close out the PS3 generations?
Yeah, that came out in 2013, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a PS4. Damn.
Yep. Yeah. Time flies. Time definitely flies. That fucking PS3 generation feels like it was yesterday.
Nah, it does, man. At times when I look at my PS3, I look at it at the corner, I'm like, damn, man, how fast this shit has gone. I went from playing fucking good titles on all consoles to now playing even better games for this generation. I'm just hoping that they really don't screw around too much with the microtransactions for next gen. Please. Yeah. Just don't screw around with that too much. Just give us great fucking content, great games, and be more consumer friendly to people's pockets. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are paying for the entertainment. It's not the other way around.
Yeah, and it's up to the fans to stop denying things that are obvious and saying no to things only because Sony are saying no or Xbox are saying no to things. Yeah. I think that's stupid. And you should consider how you benefit, and you alone. You're the consumer. You power the company. So without you, they're fucked. So they should do what you say. You don't owe them shit. They owe you. You're paying them. So try to get the most for your money.
How does that saying go? The customer is always right. So therefore, that should fall for everything, including in the gaming industry. We are the customers. We're always right. We're always in the demand for better services, better practices, better everything so that everybody can actually enjoy. And with us being happy, the customers, we can actually advertise these companies and, by the spread of word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Going on social media, hey, I feel that this game is blah, 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 blah. And it'll actually benefit the developer because they'll get that exposure that is needed for them to even progress even further. So yeah, man, the customers have a whole lot of power. You guys just gotta wake the fuck up. Stop being fanboys. Like I said, man, I go on Twitter, I troll. I don't take half of this shit seriously. You might see my tweets as offensive, and you're just being a fanboy. I'm not being a fanboy, man. I'm just having fun trolling people and seeing how stupid you can get when it comes to these companies, man. Because there are some dudes, and I hate to say this, there are a bunch of weirdos, man. They need to get out more, and they need to interact with other people from other platforms instead of being stuck into one.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the RGT podcast, episode 28. I want to thank you guys so very, very much for joining us this evening. I had a blast, and thank you to new addition here, Dealer Gaming, for joining us. Fonzarelli, always a pleasure. Obviously, Craig, Carlos, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. Hope you guys enjoy.
Hey, Luca.
Shout out to the fraud and Luca in the chat.
Yeah, Luca. What you mean get these ponies? You better get your ass in here, man.
Hey, guys.
Always coming in at the last minute, man.
You got throwing that signature. Bye. Joey shows up.
What's up, Luca?
What's up, Luca? But yeah, thank you guys again, and let's go ahead and get into these outros. Go ahead, Carlos.
Hey, man. As always, a pleasure. Panel members, thank you for coming through, showing some love to the RGT, man. And as always, man, gamer by choice, not by trend. And I'm gonna, go on a limb on this. Dealer, you're a cool cat. Thank you for the insight that you have brought, into the podcast and showing people a little bit more of a different side than what we've seen in your podcast. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. I don't think that's going on a limb, man. I mean, I think anybody, and that's the crazy thing, like people watch my video about the marketing recently or my Spider-Man review or anything like that. And like, you're not as crazy as I thought. And I'm like, well, you never watched anything I've ever made hardly, huh? I mean, I used to be crazy back in the fucking day, right? I used to be a crackhead, but really over the last several years, I mean, this is who I am. And I do prefer Xbox, but at the end of the day, that's okay. Some people prefer to game on a cell phone, so it's you like what you like, bro. And at the end of the day, if you just ask for more, hopefully more people learn how to do that.
Facts.
Absolutely. Craig, go right ahead.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the vine, as I would say on Porter Rock's show. J Fon's Dealer, thanks for coming by. Carlos, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Everybody have a great weekend. Absolutely.
Fonzarelli.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and on my YouTube channel at J Fonzarelli. And that's about it.
All right. And of course, Dealer Gaming.
Yeah, man, good show. Good discussion. I think, like I said, I offered you to come on RDX podcast and give us a little bit of your perspective there as well.
Absolutely.
We'll probably have you on sometime in the future. It was a good show. And everybody here, guys, I mean, I got to admit, like you, I hear people that say crazy shit about a lot of people on this side of the fence. And I feel like everyone here was more than level-headed. And I think that's something that people watching should consider. Not everything is, when you watch one news network and you never flick to the other one, you're always misinformed. So just check things out. If you're an Xbox dude, I don't encourage Sony guys to subscribe, but because I'm definitely an Xbox guy. But yeah, check things out over at the YouTube channel if you give a fuck. Dealer Gaming at YouTube.
Yep, absolutely, man. I mean, people talk shit. I'm not even gonna bring it up. Ryan the Professional. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I ain't about to start no damn war in the comment section, but hope you guys enjoyed the show as always, man. RGT episode 28. We'll be back next week, episode 29. Thank you guys again for joining us. Shout out to the Luca. You know what I'm saying? She's eating dinner while watching this, but it's funny as hell. But you already know. For those of you that are late, hey, definitely go ahead and check the video out as it processes. All y'all that were new, new faces here, thank you guys so much for joining us. And again, y'all be blessed, y'all be easy. We're out of here.
Yo, and another thing, hey, shout out to the Nintendo Closet Gamers. We love you too.
Oh God.
Even you, Top Dog, with your VR obsession. Top Dog's at our show every single week. He's one of our biggest supporters. So shout out to you, Top Dog.